What up, PB Cashewville? It's your boy PB, and right beside me is your boy.
Cashew.
And today we are going to be talking about
Basketball.
basketball. Give us a like and subscribe, and also check out our cool little links right on there. And we're going to have a good time today. Hit it.
What up, PB Cashewville? It's your boy Cashew, and right beside me is.
PB.
And we are live. Well, we're not really live, but we are here. We are alive. We're having a good time. And how have you been?
I have
PB?
been I have been good. I have been good. It has been very tiring. It has been very stressful. But you know what? I have been able to soldier through all of the craziness of this life. But that's how it is during the time of the holidays. It gets kind of nuts. Just nuts. Like, did you know, like, I was trying to find a Knicks ugly sweater for this particular episode, and I could not find a single one in the mall. I went to every single store,
You should have
and
tried online.
well, the thing is, I needed it for today, and I didn't want to wait for it. So
Well, see, I have an ugly sweater, Christmas sweater, Deadpool, which, in my opinion, is not an ugly sweater. Honestly, it's actually a nice sweater.
yeah, that's what I like. That's what I wanted to get. I didn't want, if I was going to get like a quote unquote ugly Christmas sweater, I wanted to get like a memorable one, like either a New York Rangers one, a New York Jets one, but I could not find one for the New York Knicks. And so I was hoping to rock that today, but that did not happen.
But I am rocking my Knicks hat.
Yeah,
so my Knick beanie. So
you know, I really want the Knicks beanie also. The only thing is, I don't like the little palm. You know, see,
you don't have to get the palm.
I know I was looking for one that didn't have the palm. I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. I went to Lids, and all of the New York Knicks hats that they had all had palms. And not that I have anything against palm. I love your little palm hat, but I prefer the non-palm hat.
Man, my hat feel offended right now.
I offended me. I like your palm hat. It's just that I don't. I'm not a palm hat person. I look kind of silly. There's some folks that can rock the palm hat. I don't rock the palm hat. I look like Cartman from South Park. Like,
Out of everything that he said, Carmen.
I don't know. That was the first thing that came to me, a palm hat for some reason. Actually, Cartman in South Park doesn't have a palm hat.
By
We
the
should-
way, so we actually do have our tapestry, but you can't see it
Yeah, we're using it as a tablecloth
for now.
For now.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it
We
out.
will figure it out.
We
I don't know
will-
when, but we will figure out
We'll
how to
figure
get
out
this up there.
how do we get this up there. We just have to kind of just size it up too. So it's a work in progress. But thank you for your patience in terms of that. So do you want to just jump right into it, or do you want to talk about other things, or should we just jump right in? Because
I just thought about it.
you just thought about it.
I left my John Starks picture at my house. This would have been
It would have been
perfect.
perfect and
I
behind.
had it right in the middle of us. That
Yeah,
would have been so
exactly.
much
Or like in the
perfect.
on
or the
the
back of
background.
us.
One of my favorite John Starks pictures is the one where he's dunking. I think I had a
Is
know,
it the one he's stuck on the Bulls?
yeah.
That's the one I was talking about. I
Right.
had that picture.
I have that also somewhere
Signatured, signed by him.
as a poster. Did you ever read Slam when you were younger?
No, but I hear about Slam.
Oh my gosh, Slam was the best basketball magazine ever.
It's still there.
It still is. And what was cool about Slam back in the day is like you get really cool posters. And one of the posters that I remember that was in my room was the one of John Stark dunking on the Bulls. The one that you have that's signature.
It's signature by it literally is signature by him. It's pretty cool.
Secret Base. They're kind of like Bleacher Report, but they're more.
Are they better?
I think they've got a lot more documentary and depth in their analysis. And I don't know. I think a bunch of them are actual sports journalists, but they did a special on John Starks. And
Oh, okay.
I'd highly recommend. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but Secret Base is really good. I like the fact that we shout out all of these different places, but I doubt they even know who we are.
I know.
So
Bleachers Report. I don't know. When it comes to Bleachers Report, it's just like I don't trust them no more because it's just for Bleachers Report, it's like oh, who's popular,
yeah,
who's this and that.
all I
It's
go,
just,
all I do is for Bleacher Report is two things. It's the Basketball Z one, and Gridiron Heights.
oh yeah,
That's all I
Hero
watch.
Ball. Hero
Yeah,
Ball is pretty good.
what's it called?
It's called Hero Ball.
Hero Ball. Yeah, Hero Ball and Gridiron Heights. Those are the two things that I watch on Bleacher Report.
Yeah, because Bleachers Report is so biased. Like
I think so.
I've
Yeah.
been learning that a lot. Like it's just like, bro, you're so biased about a lot of things, and you don't hide it. You show it.
Right.
You know.
Well, I guess they're getting some of that sweet um, money from the folks that they're biased towards. I guess that's just how I think it is, and it's a stupid business, and I don't think that there is more objective and logical sports journalism nowadays. But we're gonna get into that into that because I know that that's kind of what grinded Matthew's gears this week. So this is the
Ooh,
this
yeah.
is the background for this. So when Matthew asked, "What do you want to talk about this week?" and so I gave him my list of things to talk about, and then so my suggestions was to talk about Die Hard. That got shut down. My other suggestion was to
Gotcha.
also talk about like other Christmassy things. That got shut down. And then the other thing was also to maybe discuss the other stuff in sports, like the college football playoff. That also got shut down. And what did resurface, what really grinded Matthew's gears, is these following comments by Kenny Smith.
And I like Kenny Smith. I really do. But it was during the Bucks versus Knicks. Uh, it was the Bucks versus Knicks in season tournament, and he was talking about how was it that one or was it the Celtics?
I think we can actually play the clips. I don't think they're going to get mad at us for actually playing it. We'll play the clip right here. Check it out.
Every game that they play, they always have the second best player. You play Boston, you got the second or third best player. You play Orlando with Banchero. They don't have a player that's better than Banchero. Milwaukee, we know they don't. Philadelphia, they don't. The Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton is the best player on the floor, if you say that.
Correct.
If you play the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler is the best player on the floor. You play the Cleveland Cavaliers, you have
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
You don't have the best player on the floor no night. Now, they can play better than you, but they are not walking into the gym and saying,
You have no
"That's the
margin
best
for
player."
error.
So Kenny Smith like literally was saying like there is no NBA play like the Knicks always have the second best player in the team when they face a team, and I'm just like, bro. Then he mentioned Banchero. I'm just like, this is his second year, Banchero. He's a pretty good player. Don't get me wrong,
Right.
but if we're talking about Knicks players, why are we disrespecting Jalen Brunson, who had a phenomenal playoff run? And when I mean phenomenal playoff run, one player he mentioned was Donovan Mitchell, which he outshined Donovan Mitchell. Like, and Jimmy Butler was another one. He outshined Jimmy Butler, even though they lost the Heat. He outshined them. And then you also got Julius Randle, who's a two-time MVP, not two, two-time all, two-time All Star and two-time All NBA player. That makes no sense to me. How they always like, it just got me so mad. It's just like
Yeah, and
all
and-
they do is like and like bash the Knicks. It's like us Knicks fans, we understand it's so they could get more views, but it kind of does get annoying once in a while. It's just like go through the same thing over and over. You tell us we ain't gonna do this, and then we prove you wrong. But then another thing too, I don't know if it was Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith agreed with them, which I'm like, I'm done with Stephen A. Smith. Like he does not talk for Knicks fans. Let's be honest here. He does not talk to Knicks fans. He's not. He's not the. He's not our representative. Just want to let you know. So that means first take. Please stop saying that Stephen A. Smith is our representative for Knicks fans because he is not.
I'll bet that the thing is though, I think Stephen A. Smith would have a word. Actually, yeah, Stephen A. Smith. That's what Matthew said. Like I would love to have a reaction to that. Imagine that. Like all of a sudden, first take happens, and it goes, these two guys,
Calling me out.
PB and Cashew. These guys want to think that they know more about basketball than me. I got a Sirius XM radio show. I'm on ESPN. And these two guys think that they know more about basketball That's probably what he said. I thought so. Yeah, Stephen A. Bash us, and really, it'd be cool. Yeah. I'm a fan still, honestly,
It's not that I'm not
but
saying I'm not a fan. It's just like
he's just very passionate about it, and I think that's one of that's his shtick, honestly.
okay, but you can't tell me that. You cannot say that all 30 NBA teams. You telling me that every time when the Knicks play a team, they don't have the best player in that team? When you're facing Detroit Pistons, if you're facing the Houston Rockets,
I mean that's one thing
if
that
you're facing the
like
Spurs,
here's the thing that's the thing I don't get why they went ahead and said that because here's my little takes. Okay, my first take is that one, the record doesn't lie, guys. Yeah, of course, where we've lost to over 500 teams, but look at the record. It's 12-8. First 20 games of the
well
season,
now
that's
it's 12-9.
12-9. But that's still not like I was just looking at like previous times, like previous seasons with the New York Knicks, and there's been like some stretches where it's like 6-13,
Yeah,
and also the other thing is like, okay, like, oh, we're doing okay. It's like, why you gotta put us down? Then, and also, here's the other thing that I also must say, as Knicks fans, why should we give a crap about what they say? Here's the thing, because at the end, this is the thing that's awesome about the Knicks. At the end, the Knicks team, and like true believers like you and me, like was like, there it is. We're like that guy that does the obvious things, like
the Will Smith. You mean
the
Will, the Will Smith? You know, he goes like that.
no, the guy who like a guy. There's a video of something that's very simple to do, but it's done in the most complex of ways.
Oh,
and then he does it the simplest way.
What is his name?
And then
I know who you're talking about. He's mostly TikTok. He was like,
and it's like,
yeah,
yeah. So that's the same thing. It's like, what was like, why are we getting upset about the BS comments, especially like look at how things are right now. Yeah, Jalen Brunson, you're not giving him love, but he's number 6 in terms of 3-point shooting.
He's averaging 24.9
Yeah,
points per game.
and plus, here's the thing: if you think that this Knicks team doesn't have all the pieces, then why do we have double-digit wins with 21 games into the season? So I would say some more choice words, but since this is a family show, I'd say a pox on them. That's my way of saying on it, because to be honest, it's so early in the season. So I'm like getting both on our frustrations and their frustrations. We are 21 games in the season. Everybody just needs to calm the heck down, okay? Because there's still a lot of basketball to play. My take is this, and we were talking about this at work. It's like, okay, yeah, and we were also talking about this in the car, that all right, so yes, we won't win every single game against Boston. Okay, we won't win every single game against the Bucks. Okay, we won't win every single. Well, actually, we could. I think we could win more games against Philadelphia, because and we're definitely going to be winning more games against maybe Miami. I think that there's a lot of teams out there that we won't beat all the time. But if we're beating all of like the sub 500 teams, that's a good chunk of the league. And so if we're beating all of those people, our record's going to be better, and maybe we'll split 1 or 2 games with Boston. And so if we can do that without all of these parts that everybody's saying that they need, then that's just I'd love to see like one, even if we make the playoffs, even if we get eliminated, and people are going to say crap about the Knicks nonetheless. But the key thing is like, this team that you crapped on all season made the playoffs. And so if that's the case, then you know what? Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, I'm not knocking them as legends or anything like that, but it's going to be like egg on your face, and you're just making yourself look really, really stupid. And you're just saying that. And but it could also happen the same way. Like we could be a team that just really implodes. But I'll talk about that in a little bit, because there's a section of my notes where I was like saying, what are we doing wrong? And so, Matt, I'm going to turn it back to you. Go.
I think what gets me annoyed is just like, because if it's ESPN, TNT, the thing I hate is just like, when you're trying to watch a game as a Knicks fan and all they do is be negative.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
Like, I don't want
Oh,
to hear this negativity. Like even okay, let's say if we're facing the Hornets and ESPN, let's say that happens. They'll find good ways to talk about the Hornets and bad ways to talk about the Knicks, which makes no sense to me, and it gets annoying because you're trying to watch the game while not hearing your team getting like demolished.
yeah. The other thing too, I think that's not just the Knicks, man. I think that's everybody. Everybody. Like the Jets are treated the same way, but now the Jets really it's valid. Um, I'll bet that the Yankees could like
No, but
could do well,
I'm
and then
talking
they'll still talk crap about the Yankees.
I'm talking about like basketball specifically.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like ESPN and TNT. Like let's say let's say we face a team that's under 500, right?
Let's like you're playing Detroit.
Let's say you're facing Detroit.
Okay.
They will find great things to say about Detroit, even though Detroit's bad. Let's be
And then
honest.
very
And
bad.
and then they'll find maybe little things to say about the Knicks, but mostly try to trash the Knicks. And if they lose to Detroit,
Oh,
here we go. But here's the thing I was gonna say. Okay, yeah, maybe I think we're 2-9 against 500 teams. Okay, last year was the same. We were in the same boat early in the season. We could not beat any 500 teams, but
still made the playoffs.
we still made the playoffs. And then during the middle of the season, we started beating some of these 500 teams.
Right.
We split with the Philadelphia Sixers. We were 3-1 against the Cleveland last year. We were 3-1 against Boston last year. Yeah, I'm gonna say that we were 3-1 against Boston last year. So like for me, it's just like I don't make it a big deal right now because we're 10-0 against the bad team, which we should be. Yeah, we
Right.
should be
We should
winning
be
these
winning
bad
the-
teams.
Yeah.
If we were not 10-0, and let's say we were 5-5, we would get crap on.
Yeah.
But and we're still getting for some reason we're still getting made fun of because we're 10-0 against the bad teams.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Win is a win. That's the thing. At the end of it all, win is a win. And plus, a lot of those, again, over 500 teams, they weren't like humongous losses.
They weren't.
There were only two. Well, yeah. When I was doing my research, two key ones. It is the Boston game and the Milwaukee game. The Boston game, where Kristaps Porzingis just said, "Oh, this is the reason why you should not have traded me," and just started raining threes,
He wanted to
raining
get traded,
threes,
though.
raining threes, and then like if I were to mention to you, Sam Hauser is going to hit a ton of threes, you'll be like, "Who the heck is Sam Hauser?" But he had an awesome game that game, and the other thing too is that there was no other support. I think this is where some people do have some sort of they made a point. But here's the problem. Here's the thing. It's not that they didn't have support. It's just the people just had a bad game.
Yeah.
That's the thing. What's his name? RJ Barrett was not in this game. So if RJ Barrett was in this, but I'm just gonna parrot what you said also. It's like, but if RJ Barrett was in this game and then all three of them were doing pretty decently and still lost, maybe just by a small margin, goes, "Oh, Knicks don't have like the right pieces." I think Knicks do have the right pieces, but here's the problem. Also, looking at the New York Knicks history, we do have some drafting problems. Okay, so I'm gonna name some players, and then you tell me something that like what comes to your head. Okay,
Okay.
who is Nene?
Nene went to the Nene didn't he go to the Nuggets?
We traded Nene for Antonio McDyess, who was a bust. Who is Michael Sweeney? Sweetney.
I heard of him, but I can't remember.
He's another bust. He played 42 total games, and this one you should know. Who is Channing Frye?
Yo, come on now. He won a championship.
Yes, he did.
He won a championship with Cleveland.
But where was his best years?
It was the Knicks.
Phoenix.
No, it was Phoenix. It was Phoenix.
You know how much he averaged as a Knick? 10.9 points.
But he wasn't a bust though, because he actually was.
No, these aren't busts.
Okay.
I'm just telling you about like players. Okay. David Lee.
I know
David Lee. But here's the great thing with David Lee. First 3 years sucked. Last year with the Knicks, fantastic.
David Lee was he's a really good player. Actually,
All-star his last year. What happened the next year after that? Free agency and went to Golden State. What did he do in Golden State? Won a championship. Ooh, here's a great name. Great Knicks name. Danilo Gallinari. What a legend.
Danilo.
What a legend.
You know, this is another thing too. Is like It is true though, Gallinari. He probably would have done really well with the Knicks.
The best thing that Danilo Gallinari did was to be part of the trade package that brought
Carmelo
Carmelo Anthony
Anthony.
here. Okay, that's okay. Let's see. Ooh, Jordan Hill. Jordan
I
Hill.
forgot we
Jordan
drafted
Hill. He was
Jordan
the
Hill.
eighth pick in the draft.
I forgot
Eighth
we
pick in the draft.
drafted him.
But Matt, do you know who else was available? Who was on the board when we made that eighth pick? DeMar DeRozan and Drew Holiday. And DeMar DeRozan is now like a cornerstone franchise player. And Drew Holiday was a cornerstone for Milwaukee and is kicking butt for Boston. You see a bit of a trend here. Kristaps Porzingis, we all know that.
Okay,
Oh,
but here's the good. Kristaps Porzingis wanted to get traded though.
And also Kristaps Porzingis isn't part of the kind of point I'm making here,
Yeah.
because also the thing that drove Kristaps Porzingis away is because
Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson. Oh, but here we go. Great Knicks legend.
Frankie.
Frank Ntilikina. What a pick, man. What a pick.
That was all
That was-
Phil
That was such a
Jackson's
smart
fault.
pick. Let's read some of these stats, Matt. 4.8 average in their career. Wow. And he did, you know what? He did have a career high with the New York Knicks. It was the 2019-20 season. You know how much he averaged? 6.3 points. What a steal.
Hey, you don't have-
what a pick.
You don't have Kevin Knox here.
Here's I'll explain to you what all of these are. RJ Barrett,
Okay.
no argument there. Okay. Obi Toppin.
I'm not gonna lie. I do miss Obi.
I
But-
miss Obi Toppin heavily.
But can I say this? This was probably the best idea for him to get traded. He is doing pretty well
well.
with the Pacers.
With
Like,
the Pa- yeah,
his
he's-
rebound. Okay, he still is not good defensively, and his rebounding still is bad. But he's producing with his offense and sparks.
But Matthew, your boy that you've got a beef with, he made a very good point. Because when the Knicks drafted Obi Toppin, you know who was also available?
I know it was Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese Halliburton,
And what did I?
who's literally becoming a more electric and amazing Reggie Miller type
Don't get
player
me wrong.
in the Pacers.
Tyrese Halliburton is really good. But like I said, the reason why the Knicks drafted Obi Toppin was because they were thinking about trading Randall. But no one knew that Randall was gonna have a good season that year, and that's what happened. That's why Toppin didn't get what he deserved. I guarantee you, Toppin, like we're seeing it now. If Toppin could give you points. But, I mean, we saw it through the Knicks games,
Yeah,
where he was playing pretty well.
Because the thing what I loved about Obi Toppin was the fact that he provided a lot of spark, and that's the reason why I don't think we should have traded him.
Yeah.
But let's continue. The last one that we picked, Ousmane Dieng. Wow, what a great thing! But you know the greatest thing about Ousmane Dieng, we gave them draft picks. He ended up in Portland, and we got Josh Hart. So I'm okay with that. Now, Matt, you're probably wondering, what do all of these people have in common? These are all of our first round draft picks, 20 and over. The Knicks need to draft better.
Okay.
That's just my
Okay,
point.
Let
there.
me say this though.
But I think that the Knicks are going to start getting there because honestly, a lot of those picks, how they were made, were managerial decisions. I understand that.
Can I say something?
Let me finish my point. So, and I think this is going to segue to what you're saying. I think one of the major things that we just need to do then is really scout better. Really take a look at, I think even in high school, see how see how they're doing, see how they develop. And plus the other thing why I don't know why we're not taking advantage of that even more is because we have really good high school basketball programs here, right? And we should really be looking at that. Obi Toppin is an Austining High School graduate, and that's a local guy. And I think you need to start and it's nothing new. I mean, looking at how these players are in high school, that's where you need to start really keeping an eye out, and then seeing how they develop. But the whole college system and pro system, that is another podcast for another day. But because that's something else that's something else I'm going to talk about. But yeah, I think that just in looking at how, and this is from 2000 and I think 2020 or 2000, all of the names that I've mentioned, and these are all picks that we could have done better, or either we didn't have the right environment for these guys to develop, because some of them were really good in college, but then because of the environment, it was with the Isaiah Thomas issues, with the Phil Jackson issues. I don't think that, and a lot of people would like to say, "Oh, it's Mike Dolan's fault," but hold on a
You mean
second.
James Dolan.
James Dolan. If I say Mike Dolan,
I don't know.
James, it's like, oh, James Dolan. Hold on a second. Like, he did help make where we are right now. So let's not crucify the guy just yet. But just looking at things based on facts. Okay, that's how I like to look at it, based on facts. Knicks just have not drafted as well as they should have been, or when they drafted, had a really bad environment for that person to develop. Your call, but
Okay. So I was gonna say, I think the Knicks recently, like maybe 2019, 2020, 2021, I think they have been actually drafting pretty well. Like I said, Obi Toppin, even though we don't have him no more, you can see
he's a
doing
contributor.
he's a
Yeah.
contributor. RJ Barrett
RJ Barrett,
is a contributor. Like
yeah.
I know a lot of people give him a lot of crap, and I still believe in RJ. It's his fifth year. It's the weirdest thing with RJ is every time when RJ's playing phenomenal, he always gets sick or injured, and then he starts going back. But I really believe that RJ will find he'll
If he
find his
finds his-
shots again.
Yeah.
He'll find it.
Mhm.
I really believe he'll find it. Like I really don't think he's a bust. I
Oh
think
no, he's not a bust.
I like he could still, even if he's doing bad, he could still give you 20 points per game.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't make no
yeah,
sense.
because the guys I mentioned, a good chunk of them aren't busts.
Yeah.
but there are
So-
quite a few of them that are.
And, RJ Barrett, I think that was a good pick for us. Now a lot of people's like, oh no, like I
No,
think
RJ
RJ
Barrett is great.
He fits well.
RJ
He
Barrett
does.
is
He fits
great.
well.
Yeah.
Like he gives you that toughness. Emmanuel Quickly,
Mhm.
I think Emmanuel Quickly is great. I also think we never mentioned it. We got a steal in the second round in
Yeah.
2019 or 2018. Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson, yeah.
That was another
'Cause-
big pick right
Because
there.
I was just focusing really on because the reason why I focused on the first round 20 and up is because that's the cream of the crop.
Yeah,
in
it's the
terms
cream
of
of-
your-
okay, it's the cream of the crop.
Or you have the opportunity to pick all of these players, but instead, with the exception of Porzingis, with the exception of RJ Barrett, and
Porzingis actually was a
and-
big steal. Like
Yeah,
I know,
no.
like it was like everything that I'm like, what the heck? But here's what I'm saying though. What I'm saying is, at the same time, even though you can say the first, the top ones,
Mhm.
other teams also pass by Halliburton. Other
Yeah.
teams pass by you should also look at they have gems. They have gems. They also have
Hidden gems.
hidden gems. Like I said, Quickly a hidden gem. Quentin Grimes, as much as people giving him a lot of crap right now, I believe is a hidden gem.
I think he is an hidden
and I'm
gem,
going to
too.
say this:
Yep.
Dibs put him in the bench because he's struggling. I am going to tell you this. I'm telling you this right now. He is going to find a shot, and once that boy finds his shot, he's
No.
going to put the league in notice.
And plus, this is the thing: when we've seen him do it.
Yeah,
I think the reason why people criticize him because of it is because we don't see it as consistent.
I get that, but
That's-
here's the thing: that's not on him. That's on the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then
That's true.
another hidden gem, McBride and Sims, even though they don't get that much playing times, I believe
Mhm.
are hidden gem. I really do believe if they get traded to a younger team and they use them, you will see that they're a hidden gem.
There's also another hidden gem that you're not mentioning that I consider a very hidden gem. It is Hartenstein. Hartenstein's my boy. That's
No, but he
he's-
didn't get
he's a
drafted.
dude.
He didn't get drafted by us.
but still, he's a gem. He's still. I think he's still.
Look,
he's
Here's
still
what
a gem.
this is what I'm gonna say, and this is what gets me so aggravated with when I talk to my friend. I'm not gonna say his name. He knows who it is. When we talk, we have a little disagreements. We always have a lot of disagreements. Actually, he's more of offense. I'm balanced with offense and defense, and I say this: the Knicks' best offense is when they play good defense.
right? Right.
When they play great defense, their offense is incredible.
Mhm.
Now, this is what I'm going to say. And I believe the Knicks, I really do believe this. I really do believe the Knicks could be the third to the first best team. They could be the best team in the league, like in the East. That's me being honest. You might think I'm crazy, but here's the reason why I say this is what I'm going to say. I really do believe we need a coaching change.
But here's just with the concept of coaching change. Who do you pick?
Here's what I was thinking. I was thinking like you have to find. I think you have to find a coach who is balanced, balanced with the offense and balanced with the defense. Because Dibbs is just a defensive minded
Mm-hmm.
coach. His offense scheme is bad. When I
Mm-hmm.
mean it's bad,
Right.
you have ISO most of the time with Brunson, Randall, or RJ, and then or kick out. So I was telling you this in the car. I was telling PB in the car that a lot of our players, past players and previous players, have been showing their frustration about how things are going with the coaching. Not saying the names, like not saying how the coaching is. I'll give you a good example. There was an article or a talk where Randall was like, this wants him to be more the guy that has the ball, do ISO, go to the paint, and get double team. Randall wants to be the guy who does pick and rolls, get his guys open, get himself
Mm-hmm.
open because he's not. He says because he's not comfortable adjusting to getting double team.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think he's been doing a lot better. I think he's learning a little bit more about that. Mitchell Robinson multiple times have
Completely
plead
underused.
like
Underused.
he completely keeps asking to be used. He does a lot for us in the defensive end, so why is he not getting
Yeah.
rewarded? Quentin Grimes, same thing. He's a defensive player. He does a lot for us. As much as people want to hate on Quentin Grimes, you gotta appreciate him because he really does defend the best players. And some of those best players in the other teams, if Quentin Grimes ain't guarding them, they could drop 40 on us, and they'd
Mhm.
be dropping sometimes 20 to 25 when he's guarding them. So that's still, you might say, oh, that's still a lot. It's better than getting dropped 40 by them, right?
Mhm.
So, and he doesn't, he complained about his frustration, how he feels like he's not getting rhythm, how he doesn't get that much touches. He also said, there's another thing he said too. He's like, he feels like if he misses a shot, he gets benched.
Mhm.
Cam Reddish, who's not with us no more, and mentioned his frustration with the Knicks, how he felt like there was a lot of favoritism. Evan Fournier, who's with us, the same situation where he's like,
Mhm.
he's frustrated because Dibbs is not using him. He has a lot to offer. Obi Toppin, he didn't really say that much, but Obi Toppin did mention that he felt like he was not used right. He showed his frustration. We saw that, in the when after the playoffs when they got bounced, the Knicks, he and Thibs had a little argument,
Mhm.
and so like I said, there's players out there. Josh Hart was frustrated with his ways too. So like I said, I really don't know. I really do believe it's time. Like Thibs did so much for us, and I can't bash him because he did a lot for us.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
got us not once, twice to the playoffs.
And plus, like he's really turning the bad taste of the whole and I'm not knocking Phil Jackson. I love Phil Jackson, but I think
Yeah,
it
but
was
you
just the
let's
wrong.
be honest though,
It
that was
didn't.
a horrible. Like
Yeah,
that
it
was bad.
didn't. It,
Yeah, and a lot of people. Let me say this too. A lot of people like to crap on Leon Rose, but I think Leon Rose is actually doing a pretty good job. And you might say, "How is he doing a good job?" He's not trading. He's not like letting the media attack him and make him do these trades. He's not doing bad. Like the contracts are not bad.
Mhm.
If you look at our contract, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's
And like
because that's the other thing too. Now that you mentioned contracts, a lot of the teams that we are beating have uh they they've paid more. You know what I mean? I think the Knicks ranked 12th in terms of salary,
yeah, like
and
the
so
contracts aren't bad.
yeah, and so that's the other thing too. It's like, look, we're getting all of these wins at a cheaper rate than all of these other places. So why are you crapping on us?
Yeah, and it just to me it doesn't make no sense. And I really do believe, and this is me being honest, I really do believe that, like I said, maybe we stay. Maybe this might be. They might extend him. Maybe not. Maybe this might be his last year with us. But if this is his last year with us, I thank Dibbs. Because he helped us out a
Yeah,
lot. Don't get me wrong.
mhm.
But now it's time. We need to find someone who can help develop these young guys.
I think
And I think, I'm not saying Dibbs didn't help develop them. He did help develop. Like
defensively,
he helped
defense.
develop quickly defensively. Quentin Grimes has always been a good defender. But I mean like we need a coach that could tap into their potential because
The
we have players that can act. I really do believe we have players that have potential, but Dibbs can't tap into it.
mhm. The thing also, I highly agree with in terms of the off because this is really more of an offensive league. I still used to believe that yeah, defense win championships. Defense not necessarily I think wins championships anymore. I think defense will, you know, help, but nowadays it's yeah you can play good defense, but if another team is out shooting you in terms of threes, then you need a coach that kind of helps focus and
Kind of.
create schemes like that.
I don't.
Because
I don't agree with that 100% because I was thinking about it in 2021 against the Bucks when they won.
hmm
What made them won was because of Drew Holiday's defense.
okay.
Because you remember there was a point in time where Devin Booker, like that Phoenix team back in 2021 should have won. Like honestly, they should have won. Like the Bucks were good, but I don't think they were that great offensively. But I think it was their defense that won in that game.
Because I was looking at where the Knicks rank in 3-point percentage as of yesterday, and they are actually not bad. I mean, they're seventh in the league.
Yeah, they're
Seventh
seventh.
in the league.
They've been
But
making their shots. We got guys that can shoot the three.
because
But my thing is, like I said, it's our offensive. Dibs' offensive game is not the best. He doesn't know how to create space for these guys. Like he doesn't know
here's
how.
the stat. Here's the stat. Just to kind of help, because I love stats. I went so I have I when I was prepared for this, I was just gonna stat count. Where do the Knicks rank? I'm gonna do this so that you can't see it. Where do the New York Knicks rank in field goal percentage? Where
26.
26th. 26th. That is the Detroit Pistons who are an abysmal 2-10 have a slightly better field goal percentage. And that means that you're not as an offensive
That's
team.
what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. And you know what? I don't understand. The Knicks did this a lot last year, and they're not doing it this year. That what made them successful last year was driving to the basket, and they
Yeah,
haven't been really doing that,
that's
which
all,
is kind of
that's a
crazy.
fundamental thing. It's because I think I mentioned this to you before. The reason why driving to the basket is such a crucial thing is like one, it helps set the tempo. One, two, it also kind of helps establish your dominance. Three, what's going to be the thing that might result from it? Fouls and free
Yeah.
throws.
No,
But
yeah, I get
yeah,
that.
so
So yeah,
and
that's why I'm
and
so confused.
or the other thing too is when you were mentioning about like the draw and dump like that Julius Randle wants to do, you know who's really good at doing that?
Brunson
No,
or RJ.
another team that's really good at doing that. Like the one I think the
The
role,
Bucks are good at doing that.
but also Utah.
Utah.
Yeah, because you
Oh,
know who
like,
you know
yeah.
who leads the league in like who's one of the major leaders in assists? It's Jokic because
Oh, you
Jokic,
mean the Nuggets?
the Nuggets. Yeah, I always keep I get for some reason I get the
What-
Jazz
what-
and the
Because
they're in the-
I'm just gonna say this though. Jokic is just nice though. He like I don't know how to explain it. Jokic is probably the best player in the league right now.
right. No, he is. He's MVP for a reason. But one of the reasons why that's really cool is that he is really using that. What I think this is from what you were just saying. I think that Julius Randle kind of just wants to do what, and he can to do what Jokic is doing in Utah, in Denver.
But the
In
thing, but
Denver.
here's, no, but he also, but what Randall also wants to do, which him and Thibs are not agreeing with. I don't know if they're in the same page now. Is Randall wants to do pick and rolls to try to get guys
Yeah.
open, and also set him to get open and space the floor more.
Mhm.
Because Randall said it's true, and what these guys been saying is true. Even Mitch Robinson agrees. The spacing on the floor is not the best
Not
right
the
now.
best, right?
And the only reason why it's not good is not it's like because here's how I see it. Mitchell Robinson, a lot of people are, oh well, Mitchell Robinson stays in the paint a lot. It's because that's what Dibs wants him to do. I'll be honest with you, I've seen Mitchell Robinson defend the perimeter and he actually is a pretty good like people make me laugh because they think that Mitchell Robinson cannot defend like a perimeter shooter. Like if Dibs tells Mitchell Robinson if Dibs says you go 1-on-1 with this guy, don't worry about the rim. I guarantee you, straight up, Mitchell Robinson will kill them. I'm telling you that right now. He's a good defender.
You want to know what's when you mentioned spacing because I was thinking the same thing too because I was looking at there was a section of my notes that saying like who is to blame, and then when I went into the coaching things, it's like can the my note was can Thibs teach them to shoot more threes, and then also can he also help them improve the spacing? You want to know what one stat? Again, I love stats. I love stats because numbers don't lie. Okay, that's what I love about it. Numbers don't lie. Um, this stat right here. Can you tell? Can you do you know Knicks are ranked 28th in the league in this particular stat in terms of average? Knicks are 28th in the league in this particular stat. Would you do you know? Can you take a guess, Mister Cashew? What stat Knicks are 27th in the league in?
I'm thinking about 2 point percentage, but I could be wrong. Is it assists?
Assist. That's the reason why you don't have spacing because what did it when we were watching the game and you know what? Here's the other thing that this is something that frustrates me. It's that you can do it, but you don't do it because when the Knicks do move the ball around, it's freaking beautiful.
Yeah, it's
It's
great.
it's awesome. It's and then you know what? Everybody's having a lot of fun. When I watch the games where the Knicks are passing the ball a lot around and everybody gets involved. I mean, it's one of the most basic things that you teach kids when playing basketball. Everybody touches the ball. Everybody touches the ball. But if you do ISO stuffs all the time and you're not getting everybody involved, you're not going to get the spacing. What shows this? Assist stats. That means that one person, it's all focused on one particular person. And what does that do? It puts a strain on, and many of our friends have mentioned this. You've got Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett, and Brunson and Julius Randle having to do so much on their own because they're putting so much pressure on themselves and not passing the ball as much as they should be.
Randall's passed the
Yeah,
ball Randall's number one in pass in assists in the Knicks.
but
He actually does. I'm going to guess this is something I'm going to say. Randall does pass the ball. As a lot of people say he doesn't. The only time when Randall doesn't pass the ball, and just maybe honest, when he realized he's probably going to have to take over.
no, I understand that he does pass the ball, but the thing, the pressure, the added pressure, okay, the added pressure is really put on them. Not probably because that they put it upon themselves. It's just that they're just not passing the ball enough. You know what I mean? Because that's how you're going to create spacing. That's how you're going to create
Yeah,
opportunities. That's how you're going to be able to. And
and like
that's in any goal-oriented sport, whether it's soccer, whether it's hockey. The more that the more aggressive that you are to attack the net, and then also mixing that up with good passing, that's going to get you the opportunities.
yeah, but like I said, that relies on the coach.
Yeah,
That really
and
does rely on the
that's
coach.
that's
As much as Dibbs can tell him that multiple times, he doesn't
you
do
need to
that. He
coach
doesn't
them.
really do that.
Which is a team I think that does really well in regards to in regards to spacing.
Like coaching wise,
Yeah,
Warriors. Warriors are a good team. Pacers, Nuggets, obviously. Phoenix. Phoenix has to be up there.
Phoenix is 15th in terms of that
Lakers are up there. Okay. Lakers are eighth. Golden State shitting on that.
because there you need. I think that Tom Thibodeau and I agree with you what you said. You, there needs to be an evolution. Either two things happen. Either Tom, you got to read the room. You got to see that the exciting basketball is moving the ball around and shooting a lot of threes and attacking the basket. You know
I
that
I think,
that's
but
because
here's what I think too, and I think this is another thing I think too. I think the Knicks are more better and more fun, not when they're shooting the threes, but when they're driving to the basket and
yeah.
getting the and ones. And
Oh
like I said,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
That's
Like
Knicks. That's
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 Knicks
fundamental.
Knicks basketball right
That's
there.
how Knicks basketball has.
Sorry, my bad.
That's how Knicks basketball has been in the beginning. The legendary Knicks, uh, from Walt Frazier, from all of the great legends of the '70s, even probably like Phil Jackson, if he just remembered how it was being a Knick during that time. the attack the basket. And it's the basketball that we always like. Why do we love Michael Jordan so much?
'Cause
When he
attacked
attacks
the
the basket.
basket.
Even with LeBron, I know that everybody will say, "Oh, you're a LeBron hater." It's like, well, no, I like LeBron also. I just
I've
think
been
that
respecting him a lot more
yeah,
lately.
I
Yeah,
just I just like Jordan better.
for a 38-year-old in 21 years, he's been pretty good. He's been
But
solid.
but again, one of the most exciting places when you drive to the basket. When John Morant drives to the basket, you're like, ooh, ah. When Zion Williamson, who is now starting to like shake off all that rust, and he goes in there and he dominates. That's exciting basketball.
Hey, I'll say this: when Brunson drives to the
When
basket,
Brunson
you're
drives
like,
to the
oh,
basket,
okay. And when he
when
does,
anybody
when
drives,
he shake, when he does,
there-
like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I weirdly wish, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's rather, Dibbs has to change his ways and realize, okay, my ways aren't working. I have to do
yeah,
some new things, or he just, yeah, or the next guy say, you know what, it's time to change the coaching
right.
situation because you can say, you can tell me, oh yeah, well they should trade for a star. They should trade for a star. I
I
kid you
don't think
not.
they they
We've
don't
been
need to.
we've been through this every in 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017 when Phil Jackson was our coach, or it was the president, or I think it was the president, right?
GM or something.
Something like that. When what Leon Rose is right now, when Phil Jackson was, all it was every year we had trade,
Yeah.
we traded, and what happened? We sucked. Now we
You
have
have
a core, we have a solid group.
solid core group. Yeah, and
We
you
are
need
not, we're winning. We, like I said, Leon Rose took over, Dibbs took over. We didn't made it. We only missed one time so
Mhm.
far with Dibbs to the
Yeah,
playoffs.
'cause
So that's literally a good
good
step, a
direction,
good
right?
direction.
It's an
And
excellent direction,
our
right?
first year was the reason why our first year wasn't great was because if you look at the supporting cast in 2021, I think it was, when you had Alfred Payton as your point guard who didn't really shoot, he was more of a defensive player. Like, you realize, okay, that we are a lot better. And that's another thing too that Kenny Smith was said too. Kenny Smith Kenny Smith or Stephen A. Smith is like, they're like the same team from 3 years ago or 2 years ago. Like, no, it's not. Oh, are you looking at the Pacers?
Just Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle is the coach
Yeah,
of
the Pacers.
the Pacers, right?
Yeah, he's been changing. He changed a lot actually, but his coaching style is crazy. But that's all I'm saying. Like, me personally, I just believe that it's rather we need a new coach or Dibbs needs to change his ways,
Mhm.
which I don't think Dibbs will change his ways.
Yeah, but that's really dangerous to see because you've got to look at how the league is. Okay, and plus, again, I think it'll be something that also will change. I think how the Knicks are perceived if we follow that particular scheme of attacking the basket, passing the ball around a lot, and trying to shoot more threes a little bit better. Because the defense parts there, that's something that already is instilled in them. But
Yeah, the last two. I'll be honest.
I think Matt, it's the missing piece. It's not a player. The missing piece is the system.
Yeah, but and
Yeah.
here's the thing. Last two games, the defense wasn't the best. I'll be honest with you. Last two
Yeah,
games, the
and
defense was trash.
and
I also think Milwaukee got lucky making like.
yeah, I do have a quote of that Jalen Brunson said. He said, "Defensively, we didn't really do anything all game. That's the story. That's it. They hit a lot of shots. They got comfortable. It's on us to make them uncomfortable."
Yep.
So that it's
That's
which made excellent sense because that was an abysmal game. I mean,
But what's crazy too is like, even though we still scored 122. So you know what that tells you? Like, it tells me like if they didn't make those threes, like most of those threes, we could have probably won that game.
But
We really could have.
but the thing though, Matt, is that they did.
That's
They-
what I'm saying.
they-
But I'm saying like if you
like-
look at like they did, yeah,
You know how many 3-pointers? How many
more than like in 60%.
they shot 21 3-pointers. That is 63 points alone. Okay, and I'm just looking at one. We missed total of 4 free throws. We weren't out rebounded. Randall was named by the NBA as the plus player of the week with 41 points. So your top 3 did really well. Randall got
Oh,
41.
that's another thing too. Brunson and Randall were both player of the week.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And Josh Hart went double digits. But again, as I said, it's a 3-point league and it's a 3-point game. Unfortunately, Steph Curry and the Warriors, like Reggie Miller is probably killing himself right now saying like, why did I start playing now? Cuz if Reggie Miller was here was if you took 1990 Nick Killer Indiana Pacer Reggie Miller and transported him to that was actually another cool thing that they do on Bleacher Report, the one where they take two guys from two different eras and face them off against each other. That's also
Oh
another cool.
yeah,
That's another
they
cool,
stopped that though.
which is stupid and it's fun. But if you took Reggie Miller and then you brought him to this league, if you took guys like Derek Scott and brought him to this league, and you took John Stockton and his 3-point shooting and you brought him to this league, if you took Steve Kerr as a player and brought him into this league right then and now, they'd be making gajillion boku money in terms of it because that's the kind of league that they have now, and you have guys that are just shooting the three just very, very, very well. Um, why I don't like that is because we don't do physical play anymore, but it's more efficient and proficient. But again,
it's more fun sometimes to watch too though. Cause let's say like your team.
threes can get boring though.
No, but okay, not if the teams go back and forth.
If it goes back and forth, yeah. But
let's say
everybody's like shooting a three, shooting a three.
Okay, I'll give you a example. Let's say like it's like the Bucks. It's like the Pacers versus let's say like the Nuggets, right?
Okay.
And Jokic made a three. Like, oh, that's cool. Tallies however makes okay.
Yeah,
like
it's a back
like
and
a
forth.
back and forth 3-point shoot off. You actually like have it. You're sorry about that. You're interested in that. It's pretty. Fun.
I agree, but I still do miss the physical kind of basketball. But that's physical side of basketball. It's not completely done, but because you still have
You still got teams like that. Like the Knicks are still like that.
yeah, but it's still that essential part of just driving to the hoop and unselfish play. That's really what it is. I mean, if you can do that, threes I think will eventually become a lot easier because you're just distributing the ball.
Yeah.
And if everybody kind of just ups their skill sets, takes the defensive thing, I think Knicks will be a great team.
Yeah.
But here's my final word. You give your final word, and I'll give my final word. Go.
I think I said all I have to say, honestly.
You say what you need to say.
Don't forget, like I guess all I say is like I think the Knicks are fine. I'm not going to stress about
good.
it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to
Good.
fret about it. I think they're fine.
Good. Okay. Excellent. Because that's what I was worried about. Because I think the vitriol that we were able to get, that I'm sure there's a lot of folks that, and the fact that because it's not just Kenny Smith, it's not just Charles Barkley, even local New York sports writers, Stefan Bondi of the New York Post said that this same thing, that the Knicks. This is what he says: there are two added games. This is after the Knicks had lost to Milwaukee. Their two added games are in the toughest places to win the Eastern Conference, at Milwaukee, at Boston. And as Tuesday reinforced, the Knicks are not in that talent bracket. Stefan Bondi, it is only 20 games in the season. I was more happier with what Christian Whitfield of the Daily News said, because they said that one takeaway from the Knicks' loss to a championship contending Bucks team is Randall has officially arrived. Thank you for actually recognizing Randall. The two-time Knicks All-Star had a slow start to the season due to off-season ankle surgery and nearly triple-doubled against the Bucks on Tuesday. Okay, Randall scored a season-high 41 to go on the 6 rebounds and 5 assists, largely operating from what he referred to as kill zones on the floor. Thank you for actually being objective and looking at what is good right now. Okay, I understand that you as sportscasters, you have to just accentuate the negative. And you got to make your money. I understand that. But be objective. Be objective. And we are in the 21st game of this. What is it, 21st game
The
of
21st or 22nd.
21st and 22nd games of the season. Don't go racking on my Knicks now, on our Knicks now, when you don't have a crystal ball. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. What's it called? Jokic could get injured, but you're praising him like crazy. Oh, Ranchero. Oh, Ranchero. The only Knicks that Ranchero, Huevos Rancheros. I don't know what his name is. Could get hurt. It happens. It happens all the time. So you can't go. Don't go crapping on a team or saying a team doesn't have the person. You don't know what's going to happen. Shoot. Tom Thibodeau tomorrow could wake up and says, you know what? I need to teach these guys to shoot more threes. Mitch Robinson might wake up tomorrow or like just put in the time in the gym. He goes, hey, Jay, you're sixth in 3-point shooting in the league. Help me learn to become more of a stretch four. Julius, you're a big guy and you're shooting threes. Teach me. Before you know it, everything's going to start to gel.
Imagine Mitchell Robinson actually learn how
shooting a threes.
He'll be like,
can you believe that?
He'll be like a Joel Embiid.
Can you believe that?
Like he could be like a Joel
Think
Embiid.
Think on it. But here's the thing, sportscasters, and you're probably not going to listen to us because you make a gajillion dollars. Matt and I don't even make any money off of this thing. That's not a knock on us, man. But y'all make all of that money. But did you forget what it's like to be a player? Did you forget what it's like to kind of know that people are going to crap on you? And that's probably the way you do it. Just crap on people so that way it's going to spur them on. It's like, oh, they're just, dude, but you got to be fair. You got to be fair. I mean, the Knicks before were 6-13. The you should really be looking at the teams that have single-digit wins and say what pieces are they missing. But leave the Knicks alone. Leave the Knicks alone because there's a lot of basketball to play. And come April, when the Knicks are in the playoffs again, you know what you're going to do? You're going to crap on them some more. And I hope that the Knicks just completely obliterate your expectations. So that way we can turn around, say, hey, we had a podcast on December 9th, which is also the birthday of my boy John. I said I was going to give you a shout out. Happy birthday, John. My boy, like on December 9th, two guys were saying that we were wrong about a team. I hope that the Knicks win to the point where they say those two guys were right. And that's the end of our show. We hope that you enjoyed this. It's a long one, but we haven't done a sports one in a while. So once again, like and subscribe, and hopefully you'll be able to catch us next week or the next time that we'll be able to get together. So just to kind of wrap things up, what are you guys' thoughts on this NBA season? What are things that you think that these teams? What's a team that probably you think should be that also gets crapped on then by the writers? Put it in the comments, and we'd like to hear from you eventually. Like and subscribe, and definitely check us out in all the different places. And so, as we say every week, we don't know you, but we love you, and there's a God above that does. I am PB.
And I'm Cashew.
Peace out, PB Cashewville.